Welcome to tutorial 4, Stickman walking using the bone tool. Once again, let's use action script 3. Adjust your stage or work area to the maximum possible size for your screen. And add the grid by going View, Grid, Show Grid. The most important part of this activity, if you want to get good results, is to draw the stickman really well the first time. If you don't draw it properly, if you're not patient, then the copies that it's going to make will all have the same faults that you have in your original drawing. So try to make it as much as possible, just like figure 1 in the handout that you have been given, in which you have the 6 different stickmen. They're really different versions of the same stickman running to show motion. Alright, and to do this we're going to use the pencil tool. Turn on your pencil tool, and whatever the color is, change it to black. And for size, it's the most convenient to use 4. So the default is probably 1 on your computer. Change it to 4. And notice the smoothing is 50. What that means is that when you are drawing, if there's an irregularity in your drawing, it'll try to straighten it or smooth it out. So for instance, we're going to start with the head. And it's in the diagram you've got, it's more of an oval. We're going to draw a circle, which is actually very difficult to draw freehand, but fortunately for you, Flash will fix it up for you. So there you go. There's the head of the stickman. I'm going to give it a cap, just as in the original diagram, just by simply drawing a line straight across. And if that's straight, I don't know what it is, but anyway, that'll do. Now we want to draw the body. An arm going back and down. I don't like that last one because it's got a bit of a bend, so use Control Z if you make an error like that. Don't like that because of the little hook at the end. Try it one more time. Those will cause you problems when you try to animate it later on. Oops. That's too long. Hopefully you are more patient than I am. And we're going to draw the hand simply as a circle at the end of the wrist. Second arm. Going forward. And up. I'm going to use the eraser to get rid of a bit of this arm. It's a bit too long. Okay. Rather than try to draw it again. And a hand. Right, the legs. One leg going forward. And from the knee downwards. Terrible leg. Way too long. So I'll just use my eraser rather than try to draw it again. And now for a foot. Don't like that. Whoa. Alright, that's a pretty strange shape. That's a nice brand X shoe. Let's see if I can give something similar this time around. Looks more rectangular. That'll do. Now I want to move the whole thing over, so I'm going to choose the select tool. I don't want it there. And the transform tool, free transform, just to move the whole thing over. I want it over here away from the edge and move it right to the center of the screen. Hit escape. Alright, we want to color in the feet and the hands so that we can identify which is the left side, which is the right side. Turn on your paint bucket. And you pick colors that you want. I'm going to pick red for the right hand side and blue for the left hand side. And I'll pick bluish green for the face and the hat. Now, select it again. Use your select tool to make sure that it copies everything. Go to frame 72. Click on it, right click and insert a keyframe. Now remember what that does. It copies that image all the way through. So it should be identical in every one of those frames. And it looks pretty good. Alright, go back to frame 1. Turn on the bone tool, which we used in the previous tutorial. And you'll start at where the shoulders, at the neck, and draw a connection down to the hip. That'll be the first rotation point. Hip to the knee, knee to the foot, and then we want one inside the shoe, and that's so that it'll allow us to rotate the shoe. Now, do the same with the other leg. To the knee, to the ankle, but inside the shoe, and then to the end of the shoe. Arms now, to the elbow, to the wrist, actually to the middle of the hand. Shoulder to the elbow. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's a Control Z. I don't know what happened there. That last one. Do that again. To the elbow. That was a good one. And to the center of the hand again. Now we may want to rotate the head, so let's do one up to the lower part of the head. Alright, that's frame 1. Now it will have copied the bone tool to all the other frames as well. So it's identical. That's the nice thing about the keyframe. Now, we want to be able to create motion. So we're going to go to frame 12. We've got 6 images that we have to put in. So we're going to go every 12. Doesn't matter if it's exactly 12. And once you've got there, right click and insert a pose. Now, as we saw previously, what that does is creates a new layer. We now have the armature layer where everything has been transferred. Go back to the original layer, frame 1, excuse me, and you'll see there's nothing in it. It's empty. Right, go to frame 24. Once again, insert pose. 36. Insert pose. 48. Insert pose. 60. Insert pose. And last but not least, 72. Insert pose. So we've done them roughly every 12. So we've got all together. Oh, we got a blank frame there. We'll get rid of that later on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different positions for the 6 diagrams. That's fine. We'll just draw one more diagram. Okay, go to frame 1 in the armature layer. Now, We want to start with the Stickman in frame 1 over here on the right hand side, and by frame 72 leaving the screen over here on the left hand side. So how do we do that? Well, we turn on the free transform tool, and when you do, you'll notice a plus sign appears. That allows you to move the Stickman all the way over here. So he's just coming onto the stage, maybe half the face showing. Now, one thing I suggest is it's going to be difficult to know if we're keeping them all on the level, and we can change that later on if we want. Let's go to the empty layer 1, frame 1. Turn on your pencil tool again, and we're going to draw the ground under there so we can see it. I'm going to pick a nice grassy environment, maybe it's cross-country runner, and change the thickness of the pencil to 30. That'll give me a very broad pencil. So there we go. There's our, it doesn't have to be even, and we can change this later on. Right, there we are. That hopefully it has been transferred. As you can see, they've all turned gray to the layer 1. Now, go back to frame 1 in the armature layer. So you can see, in fact, it's slightly above the ground. Turn on your transform tool again. Find the plus sign. There we go. Or it could even be like that. He's walking on the grass. Go to frame 12. The transform tool is still on, you can see from the bracket around there. Look for the plus sign, there we are. $25. Or rather 24. 36. I'm not sure where it is now, so I'm going to turn on the onion skin. Remember how to do that down the bottom? Turn on the onion skin so we can see where it was back in frame. So grab the little arms, little ball on the side, pull it back a bit to frame 24. Let's see where it was. It was way over here, in frame 24. And has moved up to where it is. I guess it could stay where it is at the moment, in fact. So there's where it is, roughly. Get rid of that so I can see where it is. Since we have 1, 2, 3 more stickmen to move around, I'm going to move this over a little bit, just to there. All right, 48. I'm going to move over to the left a bit. 60. Right over here. And 72 is going to be exit stage left. Ooh. Now there's a little problem. You notice what's missing. Oh yeah, there's why. 72, I didn't have the background in there. We'll have to fix that. Let's go make sure I am where I am. Yep, that's fine. We'll fix that. 72, whoops. It's going to be way over here, going off stage left. Now, the reason we have lost it, if you notice there, oh, it's still working. Okay, what do we have there? There we're all right, so I'm going to right-click, copy frame, and go to that one where there seems to be paste frame. There we go. So now we always have our green background. What exactly is happening? Well, let's have a quick look at the test movie. So there's all he's doing. He's a skateboarder or something. He's sliding across the green horizon in his blue cap with a blue face. Alright, and that's not exactly what we want. What we want, in fact, is to show the sort of motion that would convince us that this person is either running or walking. So go back to, I've got to get rid of that empty frame there. You see it's white. So click on it. right click, remove frame. Give it a second to do so. There we go. Now, make sure you're in that frame. And do we need to change anything in the first one? Well, I'd like to fix the leg a little bit. I'd like to move the foot back just a bit and the leg up more like that. And it's done it. And maybe the hand just a little bit more like that. Okay, now we've got to have it different by the time it comes. The location of the blue hand and the the red hand should be in different locations, as should the feet in the next frame, which is number 12 for the pose. So, if you look at your diagram in the next one, this red foot is supposed to be actually on the ground, flat, like that. Okay, the other foot, however, is now pulling, grab it by the knee, it's pulling up. I'm going to change the position of the head a bit. He's leaning forward, and the hand at the back is moving up towards the front. So I'm going to move this hand back even more than I did last time. Alright, go to your next frame, number 24. Once again, have a look at your diagram. Lift that knee, pull the foot down, put it on the grass. This knee I'm going to put up a bit. He's really taking off. The hand, left hand, I'm going to move up to the front now. And I'm going to move the other hand, the elbow of the right hand down here. And up a little bit. Can I swing the head even a bit more forward? All right. 36. 36, I think we can start to move the other foot now. He's going to speed up. The other foot's going to be on the ground for me. I'm going to grab the ankle and the previous foot. I'm going to grab, put it back here. It looks more like he's falling though. Okay, we'll put it like that. Straighten it out a bit on the grass. I'm going to put this hand way out now and the other hand way back. So he's swinging his arms vigorously. Put that hand, whoops, grabbing the wrong thing. I meant to grab the hand there, and that's a problem. I'm going to pull the elbow up so I can get at the hand and lift the hand up like that. I'm going to have him head back. He's really pouring on the energy. 48. Now I had this blue foot on the ground, so I'm going to have the blue foot even more on the ground and move this one way back. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Got to be careful. If you distort it, you got to sort of carry out a natural bending of the legs. Otherwise, you'll find you get some really peculiar results. I'm going to move this blue foot right up. Now remember where this hand was. This hand was forward. I'm going to now move it about there. He's moving it back now. And this red hand, the right hand, I'm going to have it up high like that. Next one. Blue foot down here. Red foot beside it, I'm going to pull this elbow down, hand up, and all I'm going to do with the blue hand is move it a bit forward. Head into the action. And we go to our last frame. I'm going to grab his foot. Actually, we'll put it forward like that. This one, a bit more of an angle and down. Now I'm going to have to move my toolbar. That's the disadvantage of having the toolbar there. All right, let's see what we've got. I'm going to move my toolbar to its normal position over here on the right and go Control Test Movie. Not exactly normal. If you notice that position of the knee didn't move enough between the two frames, so that's back over here. That red, the knee with for the red feet is sliding. It's not actually changing position. So that was back in frame 2. This has to change. This has to change position. So I'm going to move it back there. Move this one. Straighten it out a bit. Pull it down a bit. I'll pull this down though. See if I can. Okay, from the knee. See if that looks any better now. So you should do this sort of going back and forth to get what looks like more natural motion. Nope. See, he's still sliding. That red knee. He's obviously got a pair of rollerblades on or something there, and that has to be fixed. That's the sort of thing you can work on. Now, say you would like to put a picture in the background instead of this. I'm going to get rid of this green layer. I don't need it anymore. And I'm going to delete it. Delete the green layer. All I have is a Stickman. I'm going to add a new layer, which you can do down at the bottom. New layer. But we want the armature, the Stickman on top. So drag that new layer down. Go to the first cell, and I'm going to add a picture. I've saved a picture already, so I'm going to go File, Import to Stage, and it's going to ask you where the picture is. And I'm going to take a really old black and white picture. And I've got to move it so it fits in with my diagram, my picture. It's more than filling up the stage. So here he is in this old black and white. It happens to be Belleville, Ontario, and my Stickman's going to be running across. Now, this is actually not a very good choice of picture because the Stickman's color doesn't show up well because he's black against the dark background. But anyway, let's have a look at it. Control Test Movie. See whether it works. So there he goes, across Front Street in Belleville, Ontario. In a not very natural motion, but there's ground for improvement. And that's the end of tutorial 4, Stickman walking using the bone tool. The main purpose of the activity was to use the bone tool to create motion. Classically, you would have had to draw the Stickman figure a minimum of 6 times. But if you think of the days of early cartoon animation, people had to draw Stickman figures or cartoon figures thousands of times. So the bone tool has made it a much easier procedure, especially for those of us who are not good at drawing. Right, now the challenge is with you to improve on this and do the best you can. Good luck.